Y'all see all this on the table? You know what that means. Seed starting time. So, full transparency, this is the third version of this video. So I was gonna do it as a short, but then each time I got to talking about stuff and it was like, well, no, there was something else I wanted to say. And anyway, I just didn't have enough time. So it's gonna be a video. It's not gonna be a long video, but it's gonna be too long for a short. It better be too long for a short. It better be. Okay, so let's see. So I'll start with the onions. So these were the first thing I started. So I actually have 1, 2, 3 pots of onions. They were the first thing I started, and they probably look like they have the most growth, but they weren't the first thing that sprouted though. And I'll get to that in a second. But that one in the back, as you can see, did not come up. It has not done anything. Now I started on these seeds maybe 2 weekends ago, something like that. So yeah, those should have been up by now, and they are not. Now, I did remember that last year I had one that didn't come up. And so thankfully I had these videos and I was able to go back and see which one it was, because I actually put tags in them that year. But this year I didn't. I just said, okay, 1 onion, 2 onion, 3 onion, and went on about my day. But yeah, so I haven't gone back through my seeds yet to make sure I did in fact still have that one. I don't really know why I kept that if I did, considering it didn't do well last year. But you know, whatever. Yeah, so hopefully I still have it and I'll know exactly which one it is based on that, but that's yet to be seen. Now, what did come up first were the cabbage. So I have 3 different varieties of cabbage. So I have 2 cells each, and I put a number of seeds in there, as you can see. And I usually start my stuff like this, or I'll just put a bunch in one thing and then separate them out at some point later. Now with the flowers, I'm not as concerned about that, about separating them out, or at what point I need to separate them out. But yeah. So, got this back here. That's cauliflower. So I started those 3 after the onions, and then I think these 3 were the next ones. That might have been, I don't know if it's been a full week since I did those. And look, I got some lemon balm, because I decided, so y'all know I started a bunch of mint last year and I put them in those 4 pots in front of my porch. Well, I want to do 2 of those pots in lemon balm. So I'm going to toss the mint from 2 of those pots and do lemon balm in those 2 instead. So that's what's happening there. I'm kind of excited about that. Rosemary, because y'all, I got a story to tell. Hold on. Look at this. Look. That's 2 of them. There was the third one. Y'all know I had these rosemary cuttings from my plant outside. I had 1 more that I had in indoor potting mix, and all of them died. They all died once they got in here, and I don't know. Sorry, I'm moving. Yeah, I don't know. So I ended up buying seed, and I think it was because there was something already going on. You may have seen it when I first showed them to y'all, but they had like some kind of browning on the tips or something. I don't know, but whatever was going on with that one outside, I feel like it was already on these clippings that I took. So I think that's whatever that was, is what killed them. We're not gonna hang out over here for too long, but there's some stuff over here. Some of the stuff actually doesn't go in this room. A couple of these go in my bedroom, but kind of trying to get my light situations straightened out, so I just brought them in here for the meantime, or in the meantime. Look at that. That's the best one I have. Oh no, what's happening here? I had to cut that off. Okay, that end looks good. Oh yeah, I just started my sweet potatoes for slips. That's just been the last 2 or 3 days. Look at that. It's already got roots. So I have 3 different sweet potatoes. These are from potatoes that I grew last year. So I have that big one is the purple one. The one in the middle, I think, is my white one. And then the one over on this side is, let's see. Hold on, I'm just noticing that white on that. Let me see what it is. Okay, it's got a little bit of a root. Okay, I just wanted to see what was happening with that. Let's see, now I messed them up. Okay, the one on this side is just your regular orange sweet potato. All right, that's not why we're here. And that, my friends, is why we have rosemary seeds started over here. Okay, so yeah, that's all of that. Like I said, the peppers were started, about a week or so after those others. And they just take a little longer to sprout. Got a bunch of flowers, got some celery. I think I might have started it when I did the peppers. I don't really remember. And yeah, flowers. Lots of flowers. Swiss chard. I'll get back to that. A little spinach. I actually have 3 different spinach varieties, and I tried to keep them in line, so I know which one didn't come up. Well, in theory, I should know which one didn't come up. I think I just did this last night. I think it might have been the night before. I don't know, but it was recent. No, wait, did I? No, I didn't mess with any flowers. I didn't mess with any seeds last night. I had to wash my hair. Yeah, so no, that was Thursday. Or possibly Wednesday, y'all. I don't know. All right, hold on. One more. These, I think, actually were the last thing I did. So I do have my tomatoes. I was going to say more peppers, but that's not accurate. Tomatoes and lettuces. And I did start, well, you saw the spinach up, so I didn't start it when I started the lettuces, but yeah, so those aren't up, but I do have, looks like a couple of romaine trying to come up. See those little white fuzzy spots? That one. And that one. Yeah. So, yeah, those are coming up. I don't see anything in any of the others, do you? Did I tell y'all? Okay. I know I showed it to y'all because I showed y'all those seeds, but I'll go back and talk about it again. Oh, I was supposed to go back to the Swiss chard too, but we'll get to that. More flowers. So if you remember, I had planned on planting some flowers around this one spot next to my porch. And then I decided on a different plant, but I had already bought a bunch of seeds. So that's where a lot of these flower seeds came from. Stuff that I bought for that. And so I started a bunch of them. I'm going to put them just in that main flower bed in the back where the blackberry and the blueberry bushes are and stuff. I'm going to put them back there. And I might put some in that newer bed over on the side where I put the echinacea and the gaillardia and stuff last year. I will be putting some over there too. But yeah, I started a bunch of seeds from those flowers, and I will put them somewhere. Now, we're back over here, the Swiss chard. So I like the look of Swiss chard, but I can't say that I've ever eaten it. I don't know that I've ever eaten it, but it's pretty. So I was like, yeah, we'll get some of that. And I want to say I actually got this. I did. The Swiss chard seeds came from the place where I buy my bulk seeds. So they were cheaper than, my regular seed packets. So, I don't feel as bad about it. But, yeah, we shall see. If nothing else, they're going to look nice and pretty, hopefully. And I think I already talked about the chamomile. Or maybe that was one of the other earlier versions of this video. There was something I was going to say. Okay. So that's this yellow B. B is for Brandywine. I actually did not do a yellow Brandywine. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. I was like, I know I didn't do a whole tray of yellow brandy, of the yellow one. No. So I have yellow tomatoes, and then one of these is parsley, and the other one is tarragon, I think. I have the packets laying in order over there, so I know which one I did. But yeah, so that's what those two are. They don't have a marker. Okay, so back to this. That is not a yellow brandywine. And I know I showed y'all these seeds back when I had them all come in. It was one that came in with these, right? So, let's see. I don't think there's anything over here y'all don't need to see, so we'll just kind of move around a little bit. There it is. Oh, this is the, see, I got, okay, parsley and then tarragon. Okay, that's not important. This one. I bought that one as a replacement for my yellow brandywine. I do still have yellow brandywine seeds because I don't know if I showed or told y'all about that, but not last year, the year before, I actually saved seeds from some of my brandywines because I was running out of the seeds that were in the pack, or I had already ran out of them. So the seeds I used last year were seeds that I had saved from the year before. And I mean, as you saw, they did well. But one thing about it, those yellow brandywines, just the plant itself doesn't do great, or they didn't do great. And then it was like, it seemed like it was really like towards the end of the season that they really started trying to give me a bunch of fruit. And at that point, I ended up with a bunch that were still green by the time the frost was coming around. And that shouldn't be the case, right? Because really those plants were nice and big. Like, they were big plants, so there was no reason for that. But they had dropped a lot of blooms. I mean, the plants just don't do well. And then also I end up with, little spots and stuff, how that goes with heirloom tomatoes sometimes. So, yeah, I got a replacement, and I'm really hoping this does well. I read it. It looks the same as a brandywine, and looking at the other pictures and the information on it, I'm really hoping it's going to be pretty similar, but just a healthier plant though. Is there anything else I need to show y'all in here? Is there more? Is there more? Okay, so this video ended up even longer. But yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Oh, nope, that's not it. Hold on. All right, I have here a little list I made a few days ago to kind of keep track of my times. Or my dates. So starting on this date is when I need to start putting certain things out. So like this right here, I didn't start these. I don't know if I started celery or not when I did all of those, but I know I didn't do these that same week, but I did them this week. Yeah, kind of trying to keep track of some things. There are a lot of things that aren't on here, and a lot of that is just because it's stuff that I might start it inside, but even if I do, I don't have a set date that I feel like I need to have it by, especially with like my herbs. But okay, yeah. So now that really is the last thing. So sorry, one more thing on this specifically. My dates, I just put my zip code into the Old Farmer's Almanac and get the dates. So that's what these dates are based off of, is the dates that they had on their website. Now, I don't know that it had me starting brassicas this week well, last week I should say. I don't know. And I have 215, but I think I actually started these over the weekend, so like that Saturday before or something. But I don't remember. I think I probably just started those a little early just because I'm trying to get them out earlier. But I really don't think it had me starting them quite this early. But yeah, so that's loosely how I come up with the dates. And yeah, now that really is gonna be it. You guys starting your stuff yet? What you got going? Tell me about it. All right, that's it. Bye.